I shared something with someone who was really surprised and thought it was really valuable, so I'm sharing this with you. Maybe you benefit as well. And it was about whoever has fear actually holds control. And this sounds really paradoxical, because mostly when we experience someone who's in fear, we feel like they are powerless, right? And we have to help them. And yes, I'm not saying about like, hey, just leave people who are in fear to themselves. But like, just for example, in a relationship, the person who is fearful dominates the relationship. They decide, right? They put the standard on it. And it's really important to be aware of this, that actually the person who is in fear holds a lot of power, because chances are, and in some toxic dynamics this is the case, that everyone is adapting around the person in fear. And this is how the person in fear actually holds control. And we all have some kind of fear. The thing is that we are responsible for it, right? And this makes the difference, that some people take responsibility for their own emotions, for their own fears, work on this, release it, liberate themselves to live their life as they want, as they wish, right? However, there's other people who are so identified with their fear that they expect everyone around them to adapt and to behave in a way they don't feel the fear. And this is the trap, especially in relationships, when you are kind of course, because you love the person, right? You love your person, and when they're in fear, when they struggle, when they're hurt, you want to help them, right? That's completely natural, especially for very empathic people. However, it's important to be aware of the fact that if you always adapt to this, you are actually feeding the dysfunction, and you are actually contributing to dysfunction being present and like staying in your relationship, and you're kind of supporting the dysfunctional relationship. What you actually are supposed to do, I mean, who am I to tell you? But what love really means, and this is the conclusion that I came to, what love really means is calling people out, triggering people into their work for themselves, because you love a person so much that you can see that they are that they could be much bigger than they are. That it's not about bigger, about like, I don't know, being someone special or something, but like liberated. I'm talking about limitation versus liberation, right? And so if you love someone, you want them to live their best life. You want them to be able to create what they desire, right? To be in the reality they prefer. And this only works when they actually face their patterns, face their fears, let go of old habits that don't serve them, whatever. So when you feed into it, you keep them small. And I know this can be triggering, this can be provocative, and I've been there. Like just a few months ago, I have been called out really badly when I found myself in a situation feeling that someone else was making use of me, only to find out that it's actually me who's creating this and who's actually keeping this person small by assuming that they're powerless. That's the thing. And then I learned, and I mean, I heard it so often, but I'm like, sometimes you have to repeatedly hear the same thing until it sinks deeper and until you actually get it. Like even the simple phrases that I quoted a lot, and you read them all the time and you repeat them, you're yeah, whatever. I create my own reality, whatever. But sometimes you don't really understand what it means. And so something that sunk deeper for me is like, we're all creators. Everyone is really powerful. And I do my best to look at everyone this way. Everyone is a creator. And whenever someone's sharing with me what they're experiencing, when they're struggling, when they have a challenge, of course, we're human. It's okay. You have the challenge. In this moment, your subjective perspective, experience is this. However, I always look at the people. You are creating this yourself. And yes, I'm here, I'm holding space, I'm listening to you. However, I call you out to take responsibility, to look at what is the outer world mirroring back to you, where's the root cause, and this is your job, to go there and to release it, So you stop creating this in the outer world, because you know how many people are stuck in the same patterns and always like repeating the same cycles and always complaining about the same things and not realizing that they're actually creating this. And by just like blaming everyone else and just talking about it this way, they feel like they completely identify with being powerless and being the victim of the situation. And this is not where change happens. Change happens once you realize, I did this. You know how powerful it is to say, I did this? Even when it means to admit that you hurt someone, it's like, oh my God, I did this. I'm this powerful. I can do or say something that causes something in someone else. This is how powerful I am. And I mean, of course, ideally, everyone is then choosing to use their power to serve others in a positive way, to not hurt people, right? I mean, the same way that you did this, hurting other people, you can do it and repair, right?